So, technically speaking, this is the Smithing Stone 2 run, but it's actually much, much more than that. We shall also be picking up the Dexterity Knot Crystal Tier, the Faith Knot Crystal Tier, and the Dragon Scar Seal, which is an incredibly useful talisman that will effectively boost our level by 12 skill points at the cost of an additional 10% damage taken. Now, this honestly will give us a swooping tour of the Leonie of the Lakes area, as well as a return to the Weeping Peninsula. Suffice to say, we've got a lot to cover this episode, so we need to get cracking. Tell me, Barry. Introducing the man, the myth, the legend, Barry the Bandit. Light on vigor, big on heart, Barry is a master of stealth, lethal with a bow, a knife, sharp sticks, and even harsh language. For this series, we're going to focus on Arcane and Dexterity as our primary damage dealing stats, with a heavier focus on Arcane as we head into the late game. Throughout the playthrough, we shall be covering a wide variety of weapons with an emphasis on the aforementioned damage dealing stats, as well as taking advantage of the Dragon Communion Incantations to add support damage. My name is Nutbudgie. This is Barry. Welcome to How to Build a Bandit. Now, before we begin, we are going to do our customary pre-flight equipment check, so let's have a quick look at that now. We're currently rolling with the Bloodhound's Fang +2. We are actually going to upgrade it to +3 before we take on the Hero of Zamor, who's the boss guarding the Dragon Scar Seal. But in the short term, what I want to do is pop in our Sacred Flow +3 and our longbows. We're going to range attack. Ammunition-wise, we're rolling with the Firebone Fletched arrows because they do more damage. That's in our R1 slot. In the R2 slot, we have the Bloodbone arrows, which are really to build up status effects, so that's kind of, we use that with the short bow, so we won't be using those in this video. Armor wise, we're using the Bandit gear, which we started with, which is doing the job. It's not great, but we're not really a melee build at the moment, so it's not hugely important. We have the Green Toad Talisman, which obviously raises stamina recovery speed. I'm using the Arrow's Reach Talisman. Now what this does is, if you imagine arrows have an effective range and they have a damage fall off the further beyond that effective range they get. And what the Arrow's Reach Talisman does is increase the range, the effective damage, further range, basically. Anyway, let's get moving. So, I placed the map marker down at the first map, actually, we're going to pick up. And we're going to pick up that first. We're going to jump down to the Leonie of the Lake Shore now, like so. Now, the reason we want to do this is because I need a few. There are a few more map markers we need to place, but we need to kind of see the area first. Now, this is a bit dangerous because it is guarded by some enemies. So what we're going to do is run around this side because it's guarded by a few. I forget what they're called, but they're really, really irritating. Right. If we get here, right. We managed to avoid those and switch out the bow. Crouch. Oh yeah. Take him down. Alright, that takes care of those. That takes care of those guys. And now we can run in. We're gonna run through this. This will extinguish the map marker. You can remove them manually, but running through them works just as well. So now we can look at our map. Now we've got some new area unlocked. Now the next thing we want to do is head here, which is the Laskia Ruins. There is a site of graves here as well. What I would suggest is don't worry too much if you upset everything, because you will. But there is a sort of grace there. We can reset everybody back to once, and that will help us in the short term. So we'll get there first. Right. Pick up this guy. Oh. You know what? Stick to your guns, not bad. Stick to your guns. Get the side of grace. As I said, it doesn't matter if you upset them, because this is where we want to be. So we'll get this first. Like so we'll rest briefly to reset. Jump up here. We're going to run forward. Just here is the Glenstone Cookbook. Now what this does is, if we have a quick look at that now, that enables us to craft freezing grease, if I remember correctly. Yeah. If we look at the recipe for that, that is root resin and rimmed crystal bud, which you can find all over the lakes area. So if you find any, we'll show you. If not, we'll cover how to farm those later. Freezing grease we can use on, of course, on our Bloodhound's Fang to do, increasing cold damage essentially. So, where am I going? Let's go this way. Now, you got to be very careful. Let's talk about this. There are a couple of things. Where that gazebo is there, that's actually housing some smithing stones and I believe a teleporter or gateway. But in front of it spawns a revenant, which is death to us at the moment. So we don't want to aggravate him. So we're going to kind of take a scenic route, give it a wide berth. Okay, going up this way. Right. So. What I suggest you do is actually pick up everything else we can pick up before we pick up the smithing stone, because practice runs sometimes wakes up and then you're in a world of shit. You don't want that. So you probably forget. Just down here, it's an item you probably will never use. I've never used it. I'll show you where it is in the short term. This is the Wraith calling bell. Now this, I believe it's in your... You can equip it, right? It's a bit like the spirit caller's bell we use to summon the wolves. But what it does is something like spectral... I forget what they call it. It's basically these enemies out the front. It fires the same things they fire at you, but it's not... Damage scaling on it's not particularly good. At least I've never been able to make it work, so... But if you want to use that, we might cover in this video, in this series, but it depends. I'm trying to cover as many things as I can in each of these series, because there's so much to this game, you know what I mean? I do, yeah. Right. Let's take him on. Or not, as the case may be. Alright. Well, they're not awake, so fuck them. Get a ritual pot. There'll be a rune here. Yeah, everybody's awake now. Brilliant. So what I suggest is you get torrent ready in a short term. Then we're going to get the heck out of here. There's spud rose there. Yeah, that's what the Wraith calling bell fires that you don't want to deal with. Can we deal with that arsehole? No. Cool. So we get rid of the map marker. Now the next on our agenda is in this cliff face here. That's where we want to get to. What we're going to do is we're going to pick up this. We're going to kind of run around here. We need to hug the cliff, and there's another map here. There's also some smithing stones there, so we'll go do that now. We're going to be careful because, if I recall, there are some lobsters, giant lobsters or crayfish, whatever the hell they're called in this game, that will terrify you if you wake them up. Yeah. But I think we're okay in a short term. There's a spirit spring here which we're going to ignore. We don't need that. What we want is in here. It's guarded by a plethora of these things. We don't need those. Jump down. Right. Okay. So far so good. We're still alive. We haven't taken any damage. Just pick up the mushrooms. As I said before, always pick up the mushrooms because they're so useful for crafting pretty much any of the pots you want to throw. So, or the grenades, if that makes sense. So there's some Trina's lily here, which always pick that up if you see it, because Trina's lily, like arterial leaf, it doesn't really spawn. There are only a finite number of those in the game, and you need them for sleep pots, which are incredibly useful in certain situations. Right. We're done. Oh, fuck, no! Forgot about him. No. I forgot about him. Okay. Alright. Oh, yeah. Strip of white flesh, that was totally worth it. Okay. Don't you dare. Oh, it doesn't matter. There is a sort of grace we're going to pick up just ahead anyway, so don't worry too much about that. I'm going to take on these boys though. Well blocked. Come on then, dude. Good night, enemy. Okay. Another couple just up here, so you may as well kill those while we're here. I intended to be a bit more stealthy than that, right? Okay. How's he gone? Right, here he comes. Come on then, sunshine. Here he comes. Alright. Okay. Oh no, no. And suddenly it all falls apart. Come on then. Okay, now we're good. The gold. Okay. All that for a gold rune 3, that was totally worth it, don't you agree? I do. Okay, so there's a gazebo there. Also smithing stones in if I remember correctly, so... But this is where you really want to crouch. You can see there's a lobster asleep. You just kind of make them out. Submerge, yeah. And there are more around this guy. There's one there. Yeah, this is unpleasant. We'll pick that up. And then we'll keep moving. So pick up the smithing stone 3. And run like a motherfucker. No! I woke them up. Right. This should shield us, shouldn't it? Yeah. Kind of a gate town. And just over here is the Site of Grace and also the map. So I'll pick up the map. And then we will rest. Just to reset everybody back to ones. Now the next thing we want to do, there are some things we can pick up here. There's another craft book and other bits and bobs, but they're not relevant to what we want to do now. So the next thing we actually want to do is pop here because there are some more smithing stones just there. But again, this is a risky proposition because of the aforementioned leaping crayfish or lobsters or whatever they're called. So I always call them lobsters. I think officially they're crayfish, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's what their actual mob name is. But they're terrifying. If they well, we got lucky. If they fire at you, you can't run away from them. They just snipe you. And without HP, we're dead. So yeah, ignore him. She missed where I wanted to go. Missed her targets. Okay. Although the Site of Grace is not terrible, so yeah, we want to... I'm sure it's around here, isn't it? Somewhere? Yeah. I think we just ran past the flowers we actually wanted to here? No. There it is. Of course we'll miss them all. Brilliant. Okay, we've got no. That's 3 smithing stone 3s. Which will come in handy in future videos. Now from here, what we want to do, I don't think we can use the map, no. But the plan. In fact, no. Okay, what I'll do, I'll show you what we're going to do. So next, I'm going to remove that map marker so I don't confuse myself. We're going to place a map marker here. And there's another one here because there's a spirit spring here. First of all, explain this one. This is the Ray Lucari crystal tunnels. We're not going to cover those this episode, but we are going to get the side of Wraiths, so we can come back at a later date. That's a great spot for smithing stones. It's also where you pick up the unlimited smithing stones 1 and 2, the bell bearing. I forget what it's called. Anyway, there is a Somber smithing stone 3 here, which is what we're going to use to upgrade our Bloodhound's Fang. So that's very important we pick that up. Then we're going to jump up the spirit spring and pick up the side of grace here. We're going to jump back down the spirit spring. We're going to run and pick up side of grace here. Okay. We want to hug the wall because it's just safer. Although we should be okay for the most part. But not if you run into the wall. That's less good. So we ignore these guys. Can we get through there? No, we cannot. God damn it. Right. Now these things smash. They sometimes have Glenstone Firefly in them, but apparently not those ones. These are tarnished gold and sunflower. Pick that up. We can use those to make holy pots, but we don't actually have the book for that yet. Crafting book. That's what I was talking about. We'll need these for something else another time. Anyway, not get carried away. Yep. Carle at the Church of Ella has the crafting book necessary to make the holy pots, but we haven't done that yet, so there are alternatives to flame pots, fire pots. So cheap grenade because the tarnished gold and sunflower are abundant, particularly around the oak trees and whatnot. So they don't do as much damage as fire pots unless you've got very high faith, and even then they don't do as much really. They don't scale as well. But certain enemies they're very handy for. So certain enemies are, like the Revenants for example, that we ran away from. They are actually very susceptible to holy damage. In fact, if you've got a healing spell, you can kill them with the area effect of the healing spell. So it's like a circle around it. Where am I going? But these are walking mausoleums, so you use these to duplicate remembrances, but we don't have any at the moment. When it becomes relevant, we will talk through that. I have covered them in other series. Right, that's crystal bud. Excellent. Unfortunately, it's not the crystal bud we need for the freezing grease. It's a rimmed crystal bud we're after. But nevertheless, they're useful. We are actually going to need them because I believe they use them to make the magic arrows and the freezing arrows. But we've got to cover where to get those cookbooks later. What am I doing? I've gone right past it. You fool. You fool. All I had. Right. No problem. It's just here though. Just a minute. Should be just tucked into. Next one. Yeah. So we're not going to cover this now. We're just going to pick up this other grace. We can come back and explore at leisure. We're not really kitted out to fight these, so don't worry if you miss anything. We'll come back and do it in another video. It will more than likely be its own separate video because it's quite a big dungeon. So, and it requires a bit of prep. We need a good strike weapon, which we're kind of using, but we also need we need to farm some materials to do it. But the boss is a bit difficult with what we got at the moment, so... Oh, she knows. Let's jump up. Yeah, we did pick it up. Alright. Can't. Too soon that bar. Right, now we go back round. Okay. Got that little detour. Actually, there is lots to cover this video, lots to remember, so forgive me if I forget the odd bits and pieces. I remember when I first played this game, I was convinced there was some these things had a purpose, because you first encounter them in the Weaving Peninsula if you're kind of playing sensibly. Right, when I use this time. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. But at that time there wasn't a lot of information out, so I had no idea what they were for. But I was convinced you could use them. I was like, they're so big, they have to have a purpose, right? Anyway. But, didn't need to rest there, though, did you not, Bar? Why did you rest? Because you're an idiot, that's why. Okay. Barry thinks I'm an idiot, don't you, Barry? Yes, he does. Okay, let's, where do we just jump up? I don't want to fall to my death. There, isn't it? Yeah. Just double checking, I don't want to miss it. These break your fall if you don't know. Rather than break our body, which is what I was worried about, because there's insta-death from that height. Okay. Wait. This should be... That's our Smithing Stone 3, so that will get our... what I'm saying, up to plus 9. No, plus 3, which is the equivalent of a plus 9, that's right. That's kind of a heavy-hitting boss-killing weapon, right? Now there's Fulgur Bloom here, which is useful for lightning pots and other bits and pieces. You kind of not want to get hit by the lightning like I just did, because that's stupid, right? More crayfish there. That gazebo, unfortunately, doesn't have any smithy stones. I believe that's a waygate in that one, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, we don't want that. So we do want is sort of grace, which I think we just run here. There we go. There we go. Now this is Sorcerer's Isle, and there's a tower here, Testu's Rise, which has an additional memory slot in if we so choose, but we don't need that right now. What we want to do now is pick up another couple of bits and pieces. So there is a... What we're doing. We want to get to this island here. Yeah, there's a solid grace here. I think there is a solid grace here, and then there's the crystal Talisman here. And I believe there are some stones there, and then a final solid grace there. And that will pretty much conclude our Leonie of the Lakes area. So let's jump. Yeah, the sensible thing to do would be to jump back to the Lasky ruins for that. Right. Again, it doesn't matter if you trigger anything because we've got the map markers, so we can muddle our way through. Just hope we don't wake everything up. What I was going to say is, I hope we don't wake up any of the lobsters. I don't think they're any on this route, but there might be one or two. There's a gazebo there with an NPC in. we do need to speak to, but not not this video. She gives us an invitation to Volcano Manor if we help her out with by Locket for a character. Now up here, this is our second Patches encounter. If you remember Patches we found in Merkwood, a cave. He tried to kill us from here up in his chest, and then we beat him into submission, and he kind of caved like folded paper. Here he is. He's basically...
Wow. It's me.
I'm
still in business. Now I'm Patches in.
He basically acts as a merchant. He does sell this. This is the Missionary's Cookbook 2. This allows you to make gold pickle falfa, but I don't want to spend that money because we're going to use the money to upgrade.
By the way, have you met that girl Raya? She's a strange one, but I believe she was in need of help. Not that it's any of my business, but if she rings your bell, why not lend her an ear?
Yeah.
Cheers for that.
That's actually a sly reference to a large question. Basically, she's talking about Volcano Manor. Raya there is the character we speak to. We have to do a favour for her, and actually this side of Grace here is where the chap that's stolen her locket. We have to buy the locket off him, and he then acts as a trader, and then we get an invitation to Volcano Manor. Now Patches mentions it because Patches actually turns up at Volcano Manor. That's just kind of, I think, it's his third point, and he has a quest for us then. But that's another story. I've covered it. I think I've covered it in every series I've done, so we will be doing it soon later, but it's not so relevant to us at the moment. Now, go slowish through here. No, we're okay. This is an NPC. We can't do anything with him at the moment until we speak to Raya. All we need to do is pick up this sort of Grace and ignore him. He sells boiled prawns, which basically decrease damage negation, or increase damage negation, should I say. They're actually incredibly useful, so once he's activated, we'll be using them quite a bit. They'll come in handy for quite a lot of the boss fights. Now, this is where things get a little bit sticky. Oh, we want to go there, that's why. I missed a map point because I'm a fool. Just up here. There are some albinorics. We'll take on these boys. Ah! Whoa. Where's that thing gone? Right. That could have been stealthier. Now he's guarding the dexterity, not crystals here. Right. Ow. Can we not, boys? Right, come on then. Finish what you started. Come on, don't fuck me about. Right. Well, we get a great dragonfly head in the short term. Anyway, we'll talk you through the dexterity, not crystal tier in a moment. What we want to do is finish what we started. So let's head to about marker point 4, which we're just here. This one we want to be careful of again because there will be the big prawns. So this is a bit sticky to get to, so you want to crouch. If we go kind of slow like this, there is one just there, you can see wandering about, but if we go very, very slowly. He won't see us either. That's the hope, that's the dream. Really want to crouch slower than we are doing. Need to make this. Alright. Okay. So that's 3 smithing stones, 2. Yeah, and there's a side of grace there, so we can just kind of bomb it through. Hope you'll be okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay, that's that. We're okay, we didn't do anything. Right, so now we want to jump to the Table of Lost Grace. And we're going to swap out these. We only need the Bloodhound's Fang. It's actually a lot of fun, and that I've stayed away from using this weapon in every playthrough so far because it's pretty broken, but it kind of fits the Bandit build. At least in the early game. Later on, we're going to be using other more bleed. Right. So yeah, so let's strengthen our Bloodhound's Fang to +3. So that's basically it's the equivalent of a +9 weapon. So this will kill a Skodrick, the grafted, to be honest, if we do it that way. The other thing we want to do is pop down to the. No, we want to pop a map marker there first. Okay. And show you what this is for when we get there. I lost my thread there. What it's actually going to be is the Faith Knot Crystal Tier, which increase Faith by +10, but we're not going to need it now, but it will come in handy at later various points in the game. And it's guarded by some of these flowers, so there is, in fact, it's right there. That's what we want. So pick that up. We can run this way. We kind of scale the mountain like Billy Goat, Mountain Goat, I should say. Pick up some mushrooms. Yeah. And up here is Church of America. I forget which one it is. So there's two things here actually. There is a Sacred Tear, Side of Grace, and Gilded Shield, which is here. No, that's not the blood grease. Gilded Shield. We'll explain that in just a moment. There's a Sacred Tear here, and a Golden Centipede. Now we're going to rest here because we need to reset everything. We also need to get ready for combat because we're nearly done with the video. We covered a lot, man. I forget how much we've done. So let's increase the amount of replenishment flasks. So we'll do that first. Okay, now we're going to jump down to our Flasker's Bonded Physic. We've been using the strength of our crystal tears. That actually enables us to use our Bloodhound's Fang in the first place. And we also have the green spill for the stamina. We're actually going to swap that out for dexterity. So that means our Flasker's Bonded Physic will now boost our strength and our dexterity by 10 points, which is great. Which means when combat happens, we're golden, right? Gilded Shield, let's talk about that quickly. We drop down to. So the Gilded Shield is a small iron shield, small shield, same as the buckler. Now, if you parrying your thing, the buckler is superior, but this does have a higher kind of guard boost in general. But obviously, it's not as good for parrying and whatnot. It's a strike. You have to put parry in it to be able to use it. But still, it's okay. We might use it. I never really used it in any of my playthroughs, but we might cover it this one. Now the last thing we want to do is pop here. Alright, now you will need a stone sword key. Now we should, if you'll be following the walkthrough, you will have one. If not, you can pick them up at the Table of Lost Grace. I think Patches has got some as well, actually, if you need, you might need to farm some runes to do that, but we should already have one. I can't remember which one we picked it up in, to be fair, but they're not that hard to come by, stone sword keys, I will say. And the further into the game you get, the more abundant they become. Down there is the winged scythe. We don't need that particularly for this character. We might use it. I might think about it. But I don't want to deal with it right now because there's some enemies down there. And what we want to do is this. This is our stone sword key. Now, what I would suggest is you have some fire grease on your person. I would also suggest you one-hand a weapon to begin with, just to trigger the initial combat. This guy moves fast, and he uses cold damage, and he has frostbite, and he gets to do second stage. You can frostbite, so you kind of want to avoid that. We should kill him pretty quickly because we do a lot of damage, but just be aware this fight can go pear-shaped very, very quickly, so we don't want to get murdered. The idea is to murder him, in fact. So we'll do that. We'll pop some blood grease. Right, now he's going to pop one of these just in case. This is the frostbite I was talking about. There we go. Fuck him. Right. This is +3 Bloodhound's Fang. That's how we roll. Now we have Radagon Scar Seal. I'll talk you through that. Let me get out of here. Okay, so let's jump to a safe vantage point. Let's jump back to the Church of Pilgrimage. Right, like so. Now, let's talk talismans. So what does the Radagon Scar Seal do? This actually increases your vigor, your endurance, your strength, and your dexterity by 3 points. Basically gives you another 12 levels. Now, it's not for free. It does increase damage taken by about, I think, 8 or 10%, one of the two. But with the increase in vigor and increase in life, basically, it's not the end of the world. But just keep that in mind. This is why we continue to level vigor. It does mean we'll lose the green turtle talisman, but I have a solution for that. There are two solutions, in fact. For stamina recovery, there are two things you can do. One of which is you can craft pickled turtlenecks, which are easy. The ingredients are easy to farm, and these only last a certain while, but they are very useful. It's not indefinite. It's about the same time as your flaccid wondrous physic. The other thing we can do, and this is probably what we're going to incorporate a lot more in this playthrough, because it'll come in handy when we use a short bow as well, is the Great Turtle Shell, which makes you look like a Ninja Turtle. It's kind of funny. What this does is the same effect. Now, as a passive effect, it has stamina regeneration, if we look. But when you have it on your back, as if it's an offhand weapon, you have it on your back, you still get the benefit. And we can now, we have our current gear, we can actually use it. So let's show you. Yeah. We can actually use that. We can also use it with a mace, the flail, and the bow, or two short bows, and does the same thing. So watch. So, oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, that'll come in handy later today. Oh, looking cool. Barry the Bandit's coming on. Anyway, so thank you very much, dude. How rude are you? How dare you? Anyway, obviously we are... Oh yeah, of course, I forgot about that. We are, of course, an archer build, but this will come in very handy, particularly with the short bow, which is very arrow intensive. But yeah, we'll talk you through all of this in later videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.